how does your behavior impact your relationship? In today's video, CeCe and I, we're going to share some of the things that you could potentially be doing that could be damaging to your relationship. So stay tuned.
Hey, Blissful friends, welcome back to another episode of the Blissology Podcast. I am your host, CeCe, and I'm joined by my husband.
Hey everybody, this is Will, and thank you for joining us today. We're glad to have you. If this is your first time with us, this is a weekly podcast where we talk about
love, life, family, relationships, behavior in your marriage.
not just marriage, relationship.
Yeah. And whatever else is going on, we're going to talk about it here on this Blissful Podcast. So guys, before we get into the topic of the day, we like to we like to share with you guys a blissful moment, something that happened to us, whether if it's this week or last week. So let's start with you, babe. What is your blissful moment this week?
I'm here.
Okay. Amen.
No,
it's
it's
a blessing.
It's a blessing. I know I've said it many times before. The fact that I'm able to see the week and I'm able to be around.
You are accomplishing your goals. You're crushing it.
Yes. But you know what? I don't have to wake up the kids so early in the morning. So I kind of get the morning to myself. So that's blissful because the kids are on vacation.
Whoop, whoop.
Yes, because it used to be that I wake up, I have to wake them up and I have to wake her up. I don't have to do that. At least
why does her up has to be like you get up at 5:30 sometimes.
Yeah.
And I would get up at 5:30, sometimes 6 o'clock. But since the kids being on vacation, when did I start vacation? This week?
Yes, this week was the first week. And I kind of felt like I had my morning to myself.
So that's a good thing. That's a blissful moment.
That's a good thing. Well, my responsibilities for the morning has decreased.
Well, I try to stay in bed until 7. Okay. I'm like, okay, I'm not going anywhere. I don't have to wake up the girls early. I don't have to get them ready for school. So although waking up at 5:30 was good, I got
stuff done.
But it's good that they're on vacation, right? For me, it doesn't really change, to be honest with you guys. I do feel like I'm still with them 24/7. The only thing I would say is just the fact that I don't have to do homework with them, and you don't have to do homework with Bribri.
Yes, my afternoons.
So between 8 and 9, it's kind of like free.
Yes, I could do stuff. No, stuff that but I do miss spending the time with her though. Mm-hmm. It's only been just a few days since.
It doesn't feel like it's only been a few days. You know, it's interesting that I went to the school yesterday to pick up some assignment for them to do during the summer.
Yeah. And
I was like, man, there's some kids that literally just left school last day of school, and they back right Monday morning back to for summer school.
Yeah.
And then the girl was like, yeah, Mom, it doesn't feel like summer school when you go back to the school, for summer camp. So she was like, I'd rather be home in summer, when it comes to the summer.
Well, we'll see what happens next year.
What's going to happen next year?
We'll send them to summer camp.
No. Or maybe we might send them to summer camp, maybe not at the school, to an actual camp.
Yes, but they do activities during the summer with them though. So.
Yes, but I know one thing for sure. I'm looking forward to go somewhere with the kids this summer, since we haven't been anywhere since COVID, since last year. We missed our
trip last year.
We sure did. We have our yearly trip to go to somewhere every year. We're trying to do something different.
We had COVID, and COVID's still around, so.
And I am not. I told my husband, listen, don't think that just because, you got vaccinated and you got your vaccine and I'm still, undecided. But don't think we go and spend 3 nights out and we going to use the sheets and blankets and towels. No, not me. I'd rather just take a drive to Orlando and come back the same day. I'd rather be safe than sorry. People now, I feel like they just...
That's exhausting. You drive 3 hours, you get there, you spend a whole day walking around, and then you get in the car to drive
It's
3 more hours.
exhausting now, but we did it before.
I was younger.
And plus, you didn't have 2 kids to take care of.
Which means it's a whole lot more challenging now.
True. I understand.
So pack the kids up early in the morning, get in the car, and then drive to Orlando, 3 hours. And I do all the driving, which means these people, they sit there relaxing and chilling.
Fall asleep sometimes.
And then when you go to these theme parks,
It
you
can get
spend
exhausting.
the whole day
Yeah.
walking around,
Yeah.
doing things. That gets, at the end of that day, I want to drive 5 minutes to a hotel, lay down,
Shower, lay down.
relax. The next day, I figure out what I want to do. If we're just going to drive back home the next day, we do that. But no, I have no intentions after a long day going up and down Disney, get in a car and drive. No, I want to do that. In fact, I don't want to drive at night with the kids. By myself, that's fine.
We've done it with the kids before.
Yes. And I know the last time we did it, I said I will not do it again.
Okay. I wasn't there.
No. Remember that time we went to
I remember.
yes. We were checking in at the hotel at midnight.
Was it
And then when we were coming back, I think we got here
Daytona?
like,
I think it was Daytona.
Yes. So I don't intend to do this.
And it was dark, and especially driving on those, the highway, it gets pretty dark. And even though there's lights, other cars there, but it's still not safe to drive at night, especially when the whole family is in the car. So yeah, I mean, I'm down if it's just gonna be.
We can pack our own sheets, our own pillow. Tons of disinfectant.
Oh my God.
Buy a
listen,
pack
I
of
feel like,
Lysol.
how am I going to enjoy the time if I'm like, okay, let me make sure that, I guess I could, yes, with the mask
No,
on.
you can get there. You take everything off. You put your own stuff for the 3 days you're there. You ask that they don't
No
do
room service.
Room service.
Yeah.
No cleaning. We just do our own stuff.
I get so paranoid. Even
if you have a
not-
bag that has stuff that it gets put away, you put it outside the door. They'll pick it up. So
yeah, I'm
can.
sure it's not as bad. It's just me, like being so paranoid and me being like so
home
overly
and barely
protected.
go out.
Exactly.
I've been at the whole COVID thing.
Exactly.
Yes, I take all the precautions recommended, and I am still around.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, and I think it's just the fact that the news and everything else. So I'm just kind of like all in my mind. We shouldn't be doing this because it's not safe. But then when we get out there, we having fun. And the last thing you'll want to think about is, okay, did they clean the sheets? Did they do that? Did they touch my stuff? Because I'm pretty sure all the fun that we're going to have is not going to be,
Listen, for anyone who's feeling like she does, every place is out there who's looking to do business and going back to normal. They're doing all they can
to prevent.
To clean stuff, prevent
Yeah.
stuff. Because no place wants to be the one that says, hey, there's an outbreak of COVID and it came from that place. No businesses want that.
Well, I'm going to have to give me like 5 bottles of hand sanitizer when I get to the hotel, wipe everything down and I don't want to be like selfish because my husband wants to go, the kids want to go, and they want to be outside of town. They want to go out of town, and I don't want to be like the mother that just like hold them in and not to go and have a good time. And I think, I was saying that last Sunday we went to our cousin's graduation. I had a good time. It was my first time out.
You actually
since
dropped
COVID.
off the mask.
We did.
I drop off my mask in it whenever I can.
We did. And I was like, I wasn't going to take my mask off, but everybody was just having a good time. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to be the only one.
And you're still around, right?
And I'm fine. The kids are fine. And her party was lit, was fun. So yeah, it was fun. I'm just not going to hold myself in and not let myself be more out there and live my life or live our life, right? Because
you gotta live.
Listen.
Gotta live. So yes, the summer's here. The kids are here. We gotta do stuff. We gotta enjoy ourselves.
Yes.
Although none of my routines are changing. I'm still doing the same thing I do every day.
Yes, you do. So that you don't wake up early.
Actually, I have some vacation coming up. So I guess I'll be doing something different.
I guess you'll be doing something different. But I know one thing for sure is that the kids, they still doing some reading during the summer, don't they? Because it's summer's here. That no reading, no writing something, no.
The learning
yes. In this home, yes. And I think you should too. Take one day out of the week. Make sure they do some kind of learning, reading, writing, especially if you have little ones. So it's important to hold on to a book as opposed to just like hold on to the game station or to the Barbie dolls, and make sure that you take some time away from them. Go outside and do something, because last thing I want my kids to go back to school and like, what did you do this summer? Did you read a book? Did you do something?
I laid in bed.
I laid and played games all day.
Well, in that case, it's
Play Barbie dolls.
that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. But anyways, hey, listen, summer is here. I'm getting my body together and I can see that I'm losing, I'm getting slimmer. Okay. July 4th is right around the corner. So somebody's going to the beach this year. I hope it's me. I hope I'll be going to the beach this year. So we don't know yet. We'll see. But I'm really looking forward to July 4th, and I'm looking forward to whatever else we do in the summer as a family and our, with our parents as well and our extended family. So yes, let's get to the topic of the day.
How does your behavior impact your relationship?
Yes, that's why I'm making sure we're going to Disney, because I don't want to impact that. That's going to be a problem.
Your behavior is making me feel like life shouldn't be fun.
Yeah. All I want to do is sleep.
Your behavior is scaring me.
All I want to do is stay in my bubbles,
I know. Who wants to live in a bubble? But yeah, and then this is where it's important, the things we do together as a family.
Absolutely.
Obviously, we understand each other, so I'm not going to give her grief over...
I hope not. And that's what's important, because if you go back to our previous podcast, we talk about the single, when you're dating someone, you get to know that person, you get to see who they truly are. So
we'll put a link on that podcast somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere around here.
You can check it out if you haven't.
It's going to be right here.
Behaviors are important.
Yes.
And sometimes we underestimate the importance of how we behave and how we treat the person in the relationship, how much of an impact it can have on the person.
Mm-hmm.
Say, many of us, we come out of different relationship that we may have had, and obviously we behaved a certain way and it was acceptable to the other person we're behaving. And then we get into this one and we start behaving the same way, thinking that this person would just welcome it and take it in. But we got to keep in mind that every individual is different.
Yes.
And engage yourself and be very open with your partner. Make sure that your behavior is not causing any issues in the relationship.
Yes.
Some of us could be really emotionless. I'm not sure if that's even a word, where we don't show emotions or anything and we expect the other person would not have any reactions or any emotions to what we do. So we kind of just go about doing our own thing. And in a relationship, that's important.
Absolutely.
Because where there are some things that may happen, it'll make you feel a lot better if I take a moment and ask you, hey, how are you feeling?
Right.
I know this happened.
Right.
How is it? How are you handling it?
Yes.
That would be good if I do that. But say for someone like me, something happened, I just internalize it and then I'm good to go. I can easily cross it off. If I expect you to behave the same way that I do. But
someone like me, I'm totally different.
Yes. See, if I expect you to kind of take the same way I do,
right,
you're going to think that I don't care about you, because
I always
to me, it's
sometimes.
like, hey, it's done. It's gone. Let's move on. I'm out.
No, let's talk about it. Me, it's like, okay, babe, I don't understand your body behavior. I don't understand when you do certain things. We're going to sit and talk about it.
Yeah.
Because that's important. And that to me is like respect. Like, you got to respect your partner to be able to sit and talk to your partner about this.
Yeah. And this is where that open communication comes with caring. Things happens to all of us. Sometimes it may be something that happened at work. Sometimes maybe something that happened within the family. Sometimes maybe something that just happened. You saw something and it impacted you. Mm-hmm. It's important to acknowledge, you know what? Maybe I should ask this person.
Right.
How are you feeling? How are you holding on with this?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I know this happens. I know it may be tough.
Right.
But tell me, is there anything I can do to help?
Talk about it.
Talk about it.
Yes.
Because that's one way we can show that we care. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to have all the answers.
Right.
But making the offer is important.
And I think sometimes it depends too. Like if you were brought up in a household where your mom, your dad, or they never really have some kind of a close relationship. You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
one come home from work and then the other one goes to work and they don't really see each other as much. And there could be some time where it's like a single parent where you just like raised by your mom or by your dad by your mom most of the time. And you don't really know how to behave when you have your own relationship,
Yeah.
when you have your own partner. It's hard for you to behave a certain way because you were not raised around.
You weren't
like,
exposed to
right,
these
you weren't
things,
exposed to
nor
it.
know how to handle them.
But I definitely agree with you when you say caring, because caring is so important. Like I'm one of those people that I care so much about my family. I care to the point where I'm like a 5-year-old. I want to know what's going on with you. I want to know if basically more so when it comes to my husband, because I can tell when something is bothering him, like because I know him so well and I know the fact that, hey, let's talk about it. That's not how I know you too well for you to go to run with it, basically. So
see, I'm the opposite, and obviously, I've been learning over the years that it's okay to open up. It's okay to share, because I'm the type I've built that wall around me to allow me to enclose things, and internally I process them, and obviously I haven't gone nuts because I guess I got a good way of handling them internally.
Yes.
But things could happen, and I just take it in and I move on.
But then it's not good to me. I feel like it's just a way of not that you don't care much.
It's
like, okay, whatever happened. Let's just move on. It's no big deal. And one thing I do not like when someone says, especially my husband, when he said, it's no big deal, let's just move on. No, it's a big deal. If it's bothering you, it's your behavior that tells me it's a big deal. So why not talk about it?
Yeah, and then this is where I'm slowly getting out of the way that I used to do things to do now, because I realize that when you're in a relationship, you need to be able to open up and share. Now we're talking about 11 years in the making,
right? Yes.
Now I'm
11 years marriage.
Yes, and which means we've been in a relationship, and it's been slowly getting me to the point where I can really be opened up about everything. Now I'm a lot better than I used to be.
Yes,
maybe 5 years ago.
You are. And I think it's because pulling,
yes.
I'm like, okay.
And behaviors like this to someone, to someone who appreciates the fact of sharing feelings, it may seem that I don't care. Not that I don't care. It's just that I can move on pretty quickly.
And I'm one of those people. I'm like, really? That's how you feel? And and there's nights where I would go to sleep, a little upset because I'm like, okay, you show that you don't care, no compassion, like you don't care, but he does care. It's just that's how he is. But I want him to show it, and I think that's why it really have an impact, if you don't know the person well enough, right? So I'm like, let's talk.
Yeah, she will.
Let's talk.
Something happened. She just wants to talk.
I want to know. Like a lot of time I'm like, okay, babe, what happened? And he'll start telling me the pieces at a time. I'm like, wait, well, how did it happen? And I'm like trying questioning him and get the whatever that's going on and just get it out of you, because that's just how you are. You like one of those people. It's no big deal. Let's just move forward.
See, sometimes, I used to think that taking this time and going over things, it's not going to change the way I feel. I've already felt this happens, too bad, so sad. I can move on. And to sit and go over it all over again and then get discuss this used to seem like a waste of time. But I realized that it allows me to have a different perspective on whatever happens, maybe process it differently. Allows me to maybe empathize with whomever may have been involved.
Right.
Allow me to maybe show some compassion to that person, because sometimes there are things that happen that it may have everything to do with what I did, but because I'm so easy with, hey, it happens, probably never gonna see you again. I just moved on. And it could be hurtful. I mean, not just in a relationship like this. Sometimes it could have impact on our family,
Yeah.
parents, siblings, and so forth. We have we have to be able to open up.
Absolutely.
And I've learned sometimes just having a chat about things, even though I may not be able to do anything about it, but it at least shows that I care. And
Yeah.
at least I get to hear how the other person feels.
Yes. Because we're gonna think that you don't care. We just gonna move on, so you don't care, right? So I mean, it's just you're thinking like to yourself, you like, okay, he doesn't care. But see him is totally different. And that's how I feel like if we don't talk about it, then you would never know how I feel about you. You never know how I feel about, what we should have talked about. Right. So I think honest also is another major one.
Honesty is important.
Honesty is really, oh my God, yes.
Yeah, honest about our feelings. If something's going on and you don't like it, you don't like it.
Yes.
Don't just go in your own corner and just be all moody. No. You did this. It's not gonna work for what we have. Let's maybe figure out a different way. Let's talk about it. And it comes back to talking about it.
One thing I always tell my husband is that don't hold anything. We made a commitment to be, husband and wife. So whatever is going on, whether if it's with you or me, we need to talk about it. Like honesty to me is like right up here. Honesty is just one of the key thing. Honesty to me is like a key component, right? It's like you have to have that in your relationship. Like, you gotta be honest about things, don't just brush things off. If you messed up, you messed up. And to me, it's like when you're not being honest with me about something, it's gonna hurt me more to trust you. It's gonna be hard for me to move forward. Because if I was like 100%, trust in what we do, and when you do something to me, you lie about something. Now I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna see you as like the man that I married. I'm not gonna see you like, okay, this is the man that I married that I trusted him 100%, and now he kind of like went around and did something or lied to me about something. Now I'm feeling. My feeling is like, okay, CeCe, we kind of like, are you taking his words, or do you believe what he's telling you? Like, honesty is such a big deal in a relationship. Like, if you don't have this, it's gonna be painful. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be a challenge for you to
stay together, or to live together, or to grow together. Yeah,
Yes.
honesty is important. Now, we got to look at honesty as, in many ways, it's us doing what we do it together. Now it's not just when I screw up I have to own up on it. It's everything we do. Say I'm planning on working on this project. Just because you don't ask, that doesn't mean I shouldn't bring it up to you. Let's make sure that I fill you in. Hey, this is what I'm working on. It's our stuff. Fill you in on it. Or
That's if it's a surprise.
I'm doing this. Yes, but even in the case of surprise, it's not like you're gonna uncover it, because the surprise, I'm gonna bring it up to you anyway, right? So it's being in the spirit of doing things together, and not doing things on the side for so and so not to know, because it becomes that you're hiding things, and believe me, things that are hidden always get uncovered. So do it together. Now, I know sometimes it's very easy that if someone don't ask,
right,
I don't have to tell you.
Don't ask, don't tell, right?
Not in that same context, but yeah, if I'm doing something you never ask, and I'll just kind of play along and never tell you, no, it shouldn't be this way.
Right.
I just tell you.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, when you're married, if you're dating, that's something different. But when you're married, everything you do is kind of like our stuff. Now, if it's a surprise, yes, do it and then surprise her or surprise him. I'm sure they'll appreciate it.
Right.
But if it's something that you're building, do it together, or fill in the other person.
Yeah.
Yes, they may disagree with what you want to do.
We disagree. We talk about it, and then we move on.
Yeah.
Whether if it's something that I'm going to be okay with or not, but at least we talk about it.
Yes.
I think when it comes to honesty, it goes so close to trust.
Yes. Because if you're not honest with me, how could I ever trust you? And if I don't trust you, how could I ever respect you? All of these things, they kind of all built right on top of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And in a relationship, you gotta have them because those are some of the keys, some of the main things that relationships are built on: trust, respect, honesty, and caring.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these things somewhat spells love.
Yes.
Because if you love someone, you'll do all these things for them.
Yes.
And our behaviors, the way that we behave in a relationship, can either strengthen some of these part of the relationship or they can weaken them.
Yes.
And if they're strengthening, yeah, you're gonna have a great relationship. You'll do fine. You care about your spouse, your partner, you're honest to them, you guys trust each other, you respect each other, you're gonna have a great life.
The part about respect to me, it's like when you start calling me out, you start saying things that's like,
well, sometimes spouses has to call each other out. I think
what I mean about calling me names, when you start calling a spouse a name or the person that you're dating, when you start calling them names.
Well, name calling, I don't think that's expected, especially if it's like bad names. But I think respect can be a bit more on, do I value your opinion? Do I value your intellect? Do I involve you in things that are important? Mm-hmm. This is more like the respect that I'm looking at is, do I see you as equal to me? Am I treating you in ways that makes you feel less than I am? That's bad. Mm-hmm. Do I respect you enough to give you the ability to do certain things, or allow you to do certain things?
Right.
Am I constantly doubting your ability?
Right.
Am I talking you down in front of families or maybe friends and so forth? Mm-hmm. Those are the type of respects I'm talking about. Do I take you out and be proud that you're with me, or do I take you out and feel ashamed that you're there? Those are the respect that I'm talking about. Because sometimes it happens and really you find that spouses that it'll be difficult to see them together in public doing something.
Right. True.
Because one just doesn't feel comfortable with the other one around.
Then why'd you marry me? Or why are we even together?
Yes. And sometimes, and those are the types of respect that I'm talking about. You have to respect your spouse, to treat them in the most humane way and treat them with love.
Right.
Listen, they may not be saying it if you're not doing it, but that doesn't mean they don't see it.
True.
They don't see it. They do feel it. Now, whether it's the man or the woman, because sometimes women can mistreat men and really treat you with disrespect.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, I think there's a lot of women out there who does that. Yeah. One thing I like what you said about the, do you value the other person's opinion or saying? That's like very much something that a lot of us, we can feel like, okay, the men, since you like the men of the house, you don't really value what I said, or you don't really look at me as a
contributor to the to the household.
So I'm gonna take all the decisions. I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. I'm gonna go wherever I want to go. I'm gonna be with whoever I want to be and do whatever I want. Whatever that we're doing it together. And that's one thing I really appreciate about our relationship, is that we do things together. A lot of things that we do. Our finances, our kids. Sometimes I get tired of going places with them, or I want to just be me by myself. But we do a lot of things together. We just do things. And the thing is too, when we stop doing this, or if he happen to stop doing, or I happen to stop doing, then we're going to start asking questions. Okay, what's going on? Because our behavior is going to change. Well, we usually do this together. Now, what's the change? What happened?
I can't stand you.
But I definitely agree with, you should see your partner as equal. Like there shouldn't be, and I tell my husband this a lot of time where I'm like, listen, you motivates me to keep pushing forward because I look up to you doesn't mean that I see you above me.
Well, I'm taller than you in reality, so you
Whatever.
have to look up to me.
Whatever. I feel like in a relationship, you should have your spouse should be your
Your other half.
your better
'Cause
half,
we
your
complements
other
each other.
half, right? And the thing is too, if you don't get that in a marriage or in a relationship, it's gonna be hard for you to really feel the person that you're with still, have this love for you or these things for you. Right? Because if you don't include me on the things that you do, like then what's the point? Especially if you're dating someone.
Well, I can't take you every place that I go.
If you're dating someone and you go to parties by yourself, you go to places by yourself, then what's the point of us being together?
Or there's a company gathering where spouses are welcome. You never take your spouse.
Then why am I your spouse?
You go, but you never take your spouse.
Why are we together? There's people out there who does that though, which is so weird. Like, are you ashamed of your spouse? Are you
Some
ashamed
people are.
of what? Listen, I always tell this to my mom. Like, mom and I, we talk a lot. My
About.
mom is my best friend. He knows this. My daughters know that. They know my mom, my husband, and my daughters. Okay. He is. My dad knows that. What I'm trying to say is, I know you guys heard me a lot saying this a lot, but my mom and I would talk about this a lot, when it comes to, because she's been married to my dad for 40 plus years, right? We talk about how my dad always compliments her. He always take her places. So when you've been with someone that takes you places, that do all these things, together, it makes you feel like you wanted. It makes you feel like you loved, right? And same thing, like gain weight, lose weight. You got to have a wife or a spouse that supports you, that helps you, get back on track, get back together. And that's what my husband and I were doing. We are helping each other stay
Normal.
supporting each other, right? Because I care for him. I care for his well-being. I trust what he does, and we do things together. We committed in this marriage, in this relationship. Whatever it takes, we have to make it work. We have to continue to get to that 100 years together. I just don't like the fact that when husbands feel like the wife is 70 or 80 or in their 50s, or the wife is not as attractive anymore, and I'm just going to not take them places anymore. Like, it hurts me so much because it's not true. I can say it's not true because I've seen it. My own parents in their, my dad is in his 60s, my mom is in 40s. But they still do a lot of things together. So don't tell me because your spouse is older, you're not gonna take them places. You're not gonna be as caring as you used to. Because of age. It has nothing to do. It's such a lie. Don't tell me that. Tell it somebody else, but not me. Don't get me started.
Don't tell it that age has anything to do. But, you'll find there are things that if you were used to doing them when you were younger, you will do them when you get older.
Yes.
So for those of us who's coming up, build the right behaviors.
Yes.
Because if you're doing the things that are lovey-dovey with your spouse now and you continue to do them, when you're in your 80s, if you're lucky enough to live that long, you will continue to do this. Many times that we'll go out and we see these older couples just holding hands, coming out of the restaurants, taking little steps together.
Right.
Sometimes you see one on a walker, the other one's right there carrying a sweater, just walking together.
Exactly.
And I'm doing what I can so I can get to see those days for myself. Because notice, it's a beautiful thing when you get old, when you get really old and you still care. You're in pain, you're suffering, but you still care. Sometimes you feel like you don't want to live anymore, but you still care. And when you're with that person, you feel my mom was telling me the other day, there's this older couple. One of them is on a wheelchair. He has to get wheeled over to the other one, who's like almost can't do anything themselves.
At a nursing home, right?
Yes. But when they're together, they have fun. Now, they can't do much besides talking to each other and share stories. but they enjoy the presence of each other.
Yeah.
So people like this understand what it means to have companionship and how important it is to be with each other.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see these days, but you know what? It starts right now.
Yeah.
Do the things to build that relationship. Now, we all have to check on our behaviors because there are things that we do that may have an impact on the other partner, but we have to make sure we communicate with each other so we know what that means and how that impact our relationship.
Yes, absolutely. It's funny while we're talking, you like, they want to be in their presence. I'm like, sometimes I want my husband not to be home.
Well, yes, we all want some time alone sometimes. We all do.
I love his presence around me, but sometimes I want to miss him,
Like sometimes I just want to be outside working on the cars and leave me be. Don't keep coming and say, when are you going to be done? No.
Okay. Are
I need
you
that
really
time,
going to throw me out there now?
Or I need to go wash the cars. I can take 3 hours.
It doesn't take 3 hours to wash.
It's not just about
two
washing
cars.
the cars. It's about
a time
me
alone
doing something
by yourself
for me. Let me be.
That's me being care. Okay, it's me that it's my caring that shows that I want to be there while you're watching
We all
the car.
sometimes need some time alone. But going back to our behaviors, the way that we behave now to show that we respect, we trust, we're honest, and we care, those will be very valuable later on in life, because those are the behaviors that will keep us together, keep us loving each other.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that you're not getting irritated with me. Make sure I'm not getting irritated with you.
We will get irritated by each other. Trust me.
But those things that we've just mentioned.
But it's good to get irritated by each other, though, baby.
Yes, I can straighten you out.
It's good. Like, imagine us in our 80s where, and I'm like coming at you and you're like, womanly, leave me alone.
Oh, I'll be saying some curse words. That's the thing. When you get older, you can get away with a lot of stuff. You can drive on the wrong side of the road.
But me irritating you is going to keep you alive longer.
Listen, you got to have fun. But you got to have fun with a certain limit where you're not doing it at the expense of the other person.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
That's why everything you do when you're in a relationship, you got to think of how that's impacting the other person. Now, you'll have heated arguments and you'll have disagreement. Now, we're not going to see eye to eye on everything. In fact, we should never see eye to eye on everything. If we do, then someone's lying to the other person. I see it that way.
Yes. And I think we're just being honest with each other.
We're being honest with each other. If you're doing something that's crappy, I'm going to tell you, hey, listen, this is not going to fly. You got to go back and rethink it.
Yeah, and I know sometimes I will just be in my feelings, and I'll just tell him that, hey, listen, I don't like how you're coming at me. But then I realize that him coming at me this way is for my own good. And sometimes you need someone to call you out of your own stuff.
So we spent a lot of time talking about some of the behaviors that can help. Now, there's a few things that I think it's worth mentioning to you guys that you may want to avoid doing. Like, for instance, behaviors that are dismissive, right?
Yes.
Yes, listen. It's a turnoff for many people.
It's a turnoff for me right now.
It is.
It is a turnoff for me.
And this is one where you can really disrespect your partner by dismissing them or their opinions or their ideas.
Yes. This definitely push people away. Like, it makes you feel like, okay, well, my opinion doesn't matter. What I'm trying to say doesn't matter. So it's like, for instance, we talking about something very important and then you're just like, oh, fine, whatever. That is something that can be very hurtful. Yeah,
it could be. And sometimes we may do it without even realizing that's what we're doing. Because, it can be in a discussion where you're strongly opinionated and you're so into yourself,
right,
that you don't hear anyone else.
There's people like that out there that just like in their own little bubbles, like they'll do whatever they want to do and they just dismiss the partner. Yeah. They just like I don't want to hear what you have to say. I want you to cook, clean, and do the laundry. And then this is your duty. Whatever you have to do, just.
Yeah. And this is where I think the best way to avoid this is to allow yourself time to listen.
Yes.
You know, you may be feeling, man, I already have the idea. I know exactly what's going to happen. But take a moment to listen. If you listen to the person and you allow yourself to listen and process what they said, then you would respond better.
And sometimes that's all we need, for you to just sit and listen.
Absolutely.
Yes. Any other ones that you want to think that can push?
I think inconsistency is very bad as well.
Okay.
Carry on with whatever plan you put together. Don't keep changing things around. Now, if you do it because we agreed we're going to change it, fine. Or don't keep saying that you're going to do this or expect this to happen, and it never happens. That takes away any confidence your partner may have in you. You know, it's we sit here, we talk about it, it's great, we're going to do this. This is when we needed to get it done. And it's not done. Don't
let the clothes pile up when you say you're gonna fold the laundry, or you're gonna fold the clothes and you never did. The clothes are just like piling up.
So be consistent with what you say, but also be consistent with what you do. You know, because if I says I'm going to love you, then I'm going to love you
for the rest of your life.
Well, yes, but you know, on a serious note, if I say I'm going to do this, or you can count on me to get this done, or this is my responsibilities, I'm the one to take care of those. I do it a couple of times, and then I don't do it, and then I do it, and then I don't do it, and you're sitting there thinking, what's wrong with him? Inconsistency is bad. You know, see, like for instance, take me for instance. I'm when it comes to time, it has to happen.
You're a sucker for time. You're a sucker.
That I needed to happen. So if someone tells me that, okay, we're gonna make sure that this gets done at this time, I expect it to happen.
I'm the opposite.
At this time. And she's got issues with that.
I'm the opposite. I'm the opposite.
But it's good to stay consistent. Consistent in what you do. Consistent in the things that the way that you behave with your partner. That's why you're not giving any mixed feelings. You're not misleading her into believe that something could be when it's actually not. And I think as people, we have to maintain some level of consistency in our lives, whether it's personal or business or relationship.
It's like you're working late every Wednesday night.
If I'm consistently working late every Wednesday night, then let it be. You know, that's my working late time. Another thing that I think is what is criticism.
Don't criticize me.
Well, criticism is important, but it needs to be constructive. If you're criticizing someone just so you can make them feel bad enough to make them feel like they're lower or they don't know much, then that's bad. But if you're criticizing someone to help them get better, then that's good. So,
but I feel like you have to know a way to make it seem like as if you are being positive about it. Because criticism is so hard that to me, I feel like a lot of us, we tend to look at it as a negative.
Well, anyone who's being criticized is going to see it as a negative. You're literally telling someone that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And for some people, it's tough to hear. But follow that up with, let me help you do it this way. Or
now you're telling me I can't do it.
Not that you couldn't do it. If you could do it, we wouldn't be talking about it. But I'm bringing up that you could do it, but not to say, you know what, you're just not capable. No, I'm saying that maybe you didn't have the right way to get it done.
Right.
Let's try it this way. So yes, criticism can be good, but can be bad. But avoid doing those criticism that really kill that person's morale and kill that person's drive.
Because we never take, I'm going to say this, I'm going to speak for the ladies. I know a lot of us, we don't take criticism very well. Like we feel like when someone criticizes us, they're coming at me. You coming at me for something. Although I know you saying it for my good, right? You coming at me, but it just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem like it's a positive thing. Right. It's like you criticize me for doing something. Oh, you did this, but it could have been better doing this. I understand you telling me because you're my husband, you telling me, even though you my husband, you telling me, it still doesn't sound right because I feel like there's a lot of things that we do. We want to be better. We want to be good at it. But, criticize to me is definitely something that's hard to swallow from, hearing back like from your spouse or family members. So definitely, and just gotta move on.
Yeah.
Basically.
And some of us could be crazy arrogant. I'm not, but I know
You're
some
not.
people could be.
You're not.
And our
Sometimes.
arrogance can cause us to really treat other people not the right way.
Poorly.
And that could cause you to be very dismissive.
Yes.
Because when your ego is about this big.
Yes. Yes.
It's tough to listen to other people.
It is. It is tough to listen to.
Yes. And it's tough to take criticism too. Yeah, arrogance is never good for any relationship because you don't see this person as even like this much close to where you are because it's all about you.
It's all about you.
And you.
And your world.
And you. So, in all, build your relationship on the right values.
Yes, sir.
Yes. And put up the right behaviors. Practice them as early as you can start. Start with the respect, the trust, the honesty, the caring, the loving. All of the things that makes it worth having a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously cut out all these things that are bad. Now, those are all behaviors that we built over time.
Right.
Those are not things that you wake up one day and you just have them.
Mm-hmm.
The longer, I'm sure someone who's been married for 70 years old, if they had a good relationship, will have a whole lot more to say about these things.
Yes.
As opposed to someone who was married 2 years ago. However,
Right.
our experiences are different. The way
Yep.
that we go into our relationship will determine where our relationship go and how we interact within that relationship. But what's important is that we know that it's a relationship and we're going to do whatever we need to do to make it work.
That's right.
So guys, thank you very much for listening to our podcast today on behaviors in your relationship.
Yes.
And if this is your first time with us, please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell as well so we can be notified when we put out these new videos. For those of you who's been with us for a while,
Yes.
thank you very much. We
Thank you,
appreciate
thank
you.
you.
Keep
We
supporting
love
the
you.
channel. Keep sharing it
Yes.
with anyone you know that this could be beneficial to. And tell them to subscribe.
Yes. And
Leave
like
us some
the
comments.
video.
Very important. Leave us some comments. Let us know
Please
what you
do.
like. Let us know what you don't like. We count on your feedback to make this podcast even better than it already is.
Yes.
So thank you very much for listening. Remember, you can get us on SoundCloud, iTunes Podcast, TuneIn Radio. Yes. So you could be driving and listening to me talk. All right, everybody. So thank you
I hope
very much.
listening to me too.
Listening to her talk.
Listening to us.
Listening to her. You can mute me
Listening
out.
to. How the hell do that?
Hey, everybody. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next Saturday.